guys, welcome back. I'm going to do another video about the business startup hacks and tips. This is another one. Again, we're running these series of videos with different members who are uploading a video every day talking about little tips and tricks that have helped them with their business for guys starting out in the field. Today I'm going to talk about second-hand equipment and just some things to think about on the topic of if you're looking down that avenue of purchasing second-hand equipment for you and your new business or your startup. The first thing I would say is that generally whenever you're starting up, we tend to think that we have a lot of experience and knowledge in a lot of things and we're going to be able to do this. That's absolutely true. But something that might help you just along the way is to definitely try and seek out getting any help and advice from wherever you can get it from other people to be able to kind of keep you on the straight and narrow. And when it comes to buying second-hand equipment, there's a lot of things that you can purchase. There's a lot of things that can go wrong and things like that. And whenever you're starting a business, those kind of errors in judgment or those mistakes can be quite frustrating, especially if you're financially, say, trying to survive, if you want, with starting a business. It's one of those things where you can't really afford to make those mistakes. So the idea being with these tips, hopefully they'll help you avoid some of those mistakes. So the first thing I would say is that perhaps I've got written down here a few little notes. First thing I would say is perhaps to search out a friend who works with tools and equipment, or a friend of a friend, if you want, who knows. Anywhere you can find somebody who knows about these things that they can try and advise you on. If you're, say for instance, you're looking on Gumtree or Dundeal or Craigslist or any of those kind of online selling pages, and you find a piece of equipment you like the look of it, having somebody to be able to just ask them, well, look, this is what I'm looking at, this is how much it's going for, what are the things that I need to maybe perhaps look out for when I'm going to look at this piece of equipment. Now, it would be even better if you had somebody to go with you to check out a piece of equipment, but if you can't, then to try and get them to just kind of point you in the right direction of what you need to look for when you're looking at bits and pieces of equipment. When it comes to second-hand equipment, generally, it is a more cost-effective way to get your business up and running. So working with what you have or with what you can afford is definitely something that you really want to make sure that you don't bite off more than you can chew. What I've found from different bits of information I've picked up from on social media, particularly with the Lawn Care Business Success podcast hosted by Giulio Tomei. I remember him talking about going from a John Deere, and he bought a Walker, and he ended up going back to a John Deere ride-on tractor more because the equipment, what he had in his mind was this would be a great investment, and yet in actual fact when you looked at it, it was better that he used the John Deere tractor because it was lighter based on the conditions of his climate and where he was. It was a better decision. So when you're kind of looking at investing in equipment, second-hand equipment, or trying to get the business going, making sure you have enough information to make a good decision is definitely key. And so those are definitely something. Have somebody or find somebody who can try and advise you in those directions. Now, I also have, in addition to this video, another member on the group, one of the admins here, Jay Chillingworth. He is a qualified technician. He has agreed to create a follow-up business tip to this video to be able to kind of just point you in the direction of some things to look out for when you're purchasing second-hand equipment. So hopefully, that's a little tip that will help you. Just bearing in mind, try and find somebody who knows about these things. Team up with your peers who are in the field, who can advise you on what basic equipment you need just to get going, so that you're not spending money on tools and equipment that is unnecessary from the very beginning, putting a financial burden on yourself and stress, and you might find that you've spent a lot of money on something that you might never use, or that you rarely use, and you could have invested in something else that you use more often. So these things with buying equipment second-hand are just a few little tips that I've learned along the way, and hopefully they were helpful to you guys. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.